Kerry Carpenter with one of the most clutch and maybe the most unlikely home run in Detroit Tigers history. Just the third in franchise history with a go-ahead homer in the 9th inning or later in the postseason, joining Magglio Ordonez, who did it in the 06 ALCS, and then Al Kaline back in 1974 in Game 1 of the ALCS. Talking Tigers Guardians Game 2, and what a game it was with World Series champ Will Middlebrooks. Kerry Carpenter taking Emmanuel Clase deep to right, a go-ahead 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 9th of a scoreless game. Clase has been the most dominant reliever in the American League all season, only give up 2 home runs all season. What was your reaction to giving up that home run in such a massive situation?
Yeah, Russ, you said it during the highlight. Emmanuel Clase's only given up 5 runs in 74 outings this season. I mean, really, to wrap your head around that, he's given up 5 earned runs in 6 months and then gives up in 1 swing of the bat 3 to Kerry Carpenter. Something else that stood out, it was 110.8 off the bat. That's the hardest exit velocity he's ever given up in his entire career. So something else that stood out to me when I was watching that at bat, what got Emmanuel Clase to this point, where everyone in the game is saying this is the best closer in baseball right now, is his cutter, right? He throws 102-mile-per-hour cutters. He's a freak show. He threw 3 sliders in a row to Kerry Carpenter. I don't know if that was just their plan based off of, looking at heat maps and batting average against certain pitches in certain quadrants and thought that was the best. It doesn't matter. You look at Kerry Carpenter's season, he only played 87 games. He missed a lot of games in the first half because of a back injury. But he had 18 homers and a 930 OPS in those 87 games. This guy has a lot of thump. You show any big league hitter 3 pitches in a row and you hang one on the 3rd one, you're probably not going to get the ball back like we saw. And that was probably the biggest swing at least in 10 years from the Detroit Tigers, but maybe back to 06 with the Magglio swing you were just talking about.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Look, Detroit probably wouldn't have been in that position without their ace, Tarik Skubal. 7 scoreless, gave up just 3 hits, struck out 8. Look, we were watching that game thinking we might be watching a perfect game here. What were your thoughts on his performance of the likely AL Cy Young Award winner? His very first career postseason start, mind you.
So it was expected, I guess.
Wow.
I mean, you see what he did just about every start this season. I was lucky enough to be in the booth calling the game in Game 2 in Houston when he pitched against them in the wild card series a few days ago, and it was more of the same, right? And look, it really was a must-win for Detroit. I mean, you can look at the numbers. Of the 90 teams to trail 2-0 in the history of 5-game postseason series, only 10 of them have actually come back to win the series. So they're in a pretty good spot when they're running Tarik Skubal out there, who you just mentioned is going to win the AL Cy Young. I think he was the best pitcher in all of baseball. Chris Sale had a great year. He'll probably win in the NL. But Tarik Skubal's ability to just not walk anyone, to fill up the strike zone. You saw in the 5th inning, 1st and 2nd, 1 out, ground ball double play out of it. 6th inning, 1st and 3rd, 1 out, ground ball double play, gets out of it. He doesn't just lean on the strikeout and on the swing and miss, which he gets a lot of. He has 101 in his back pocket with 2 other plus pitches, but he can also just pitch. The pitch ability is there. He can hit his spots. He can read swings, and he was phenomenal tonight, and he put them in a great position to have a chance to win.
2 very different baseball games that played out in Cleveland in games 1 and 2 of this series. One kind of no contest from the 1st inning on, and another contested all the way to 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. Now we go to Detroit. Who do you give the edge to going forward here?
Oh boy, that's a tough question. That's a coin flip. Cleveland has the best bullpen in baseball, right? They have a very young rookie manager in Stephen Vogt, who is great. He's a clubhouse leader. They love him. He's one of those guys that gets the most out of his players. And there is 2 gritty, scrappy teams. I think I am probably in the small group in the minority that thinks Detroit can pull this out. I really like A.J. Hinch. I really like the fact that even when they throw a bullpen game, in most situations, you look at a team and you say, oh, they're going bullpen game. It's a weakness. It's not for Detroit. They have a system. They have been playing what feels like Game 7s for the last 6 weeks just to get into the postseason. And this equation that they have and this mixture of bullpen games, obviously they have Skubal. Obviously they have a couple other guys in Olsen and Madden who can start games and give you multiple innings. but they're going to piece together these games and play matchups. And as an offense, that's really hard to not see the same guy more than once. It's an uncomfortable at bat. So I'm going to give the edge to Detroit, especially with the series going back there for Game 3.
Yeah, and look, your initial response to that question probably tells the story of this series. Who knows, really, what's going to happen between these two teams? But that's why we watch.
What we do know is we're going to get great baseball.
Yes, we will.
I mean, that was the whole postseason. Every series up to this point has been phenomenal. As a fan of the game, this has been so much fun.
I'm right there with you. Will Middlebrooks, ladies and gentlemen. Will, thank you so much. And Tarik Skubal,
thank you.
What a performance from Skubal. Just the third time we see a scoreless start of 7+ innings pitched, 8+ strikeouts, and 3 hits or fewer in Tigers postseason history. Justin Verlander, the last to do it, that coming more than 10 years ago, back in 2013. Then you go back to Milt Wilcox in the ALCS in 1984.